action movies are here from the beginning of cinema. It's not new. It's from Hollywood, from the 1950s, 40s, from the silent era. There were action movies. There is no question about it. And of course, we had the Westerns, which was action movies, and James Bond, let's say, for instance, which were action movies. James Bond is also action movies. But in the 80s, in the 1980s, when the time that I directed movies, there was something happened, and this was the home video entertainment, the video cassette. The video cassette started, people suddenly understood that they can bring a video to home, they can see it, they can return it. So the rental business started to be very prolific, very good. And every neighborhood in every city in the world, there was a rental house. Everybody, especially the young people, went in maybe Friday for the weekend, they brought a cassette. And there was money. There was money in this business. The big studios did not pay attention to this business of cassette, of home video entertainment, but independent companies, they saw the opportunity. It was Canon, it was Corelco, it was PM Entertainment, the Hollywood companies that I know. And those were independent companies, and they started to expedite this area, how to make money from this video. The most common, the most easiest, no, it's not easiest to produce, but the easiest to sell is action movies. Horror pictures, kind of not all over the world. Not everybody likes horror pictures all over the world, but action is an international language. Everybody understands, everybody loves, certain audience. In every country, there is enough audience for action. And this business of low budget, and now they could not make, these independent companies could not make movies with the budget of the studios. They didn't have this money, the big money to make tremendous big James Bond movies. So they made small action movies. But there was enough money in the business to make those action movies good enough. They didn't have to look too cheap, and they were good enough. So this was a field of, we can call them medium budget action movies. And they started to make those movies and sell them. Now, because we did not have a lot of money, we didn't have the big budget, we have to come up with ideas. How do you create action, spectacular action, exciting action with the money that we had, the resources that we had? And what we have to do, we could not, and at the time also, the visual effects, the visual special effects were not developed like they are today. So we had to use what we had. And most of the actions that we did was real action performed on the set. Of course, by stunt people. When I say real, of course, we didn't kill people, but as real as it can. But the stunt people, the stunt doubles, the actors, the martial art actors, they had to perform what you saw on the screen. There was no other way. We didn't have budget for fancy special effects or optical effects. We didn't have time. Those movies had constraints. So this went along through the 1980s. They made money. Beginning of 1990s, they made money. And new stars rose to power, new action stars. Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Van Damme, Chuck Norris, they flourish in this field of the home video cassette. In the middle of the 90s, the studios suddenly realized, they say, well, that's enough. They are making money at the big studios, Universal, Fox, Paramount. They say, okay, why are they making the money that we can make? Okay, enough. They made money for 10 years, 15 years, now we are taking over. So they started to do the same kind of movies, but with more money. Predator, True Lies. They took Schwarzenegger, they took Stallone, they took Van Damme into their business, and they started to make the same kind of movies with big budget. So at the time where we are talking 1990s, we made movies for between $2.5 and $6 million budget. The studios immediately made them for 40 million, 30 million, big budget for them for that time. And they made the movies much more bigger. The action was even more exciting. The the optical effect and special effects were much more bigger. They also had better scripts, better writers, the scripts were better, and more location, etc., etc. And this was the lead to the 2000, the superhero movies, or if you want, the Fast and the Furious movie. Now, when we enter the 2000s, the new millennium, the action was super spectacular. Now we are not talking 40 million. Now the movies are over 100 million, and today's are over 200 million in budget. They have so much money in those movies, in the superhero, in the Batman, in the Superman, in the Avengers, in all those movies, including I'm including Fast and Furious in this. There was so much money that the action became so spectacular, so beautiful, so fantastic, fantasy. But suddenly, so now we are in the second, the 2010s, we are over already this. And suddenly the audience kind of feel a little bit, whoa, the action is not real anymore. It's so crazy when you have one car flying from one tower to another tower, like it was an airplane. It's not realistic. So suddenly, audiences who love action movies, I'm not talking about all audiences of movies all over the world, suddenly they discovered the movies of the 80s, that the action was real. And you can feel it. When you watch a movie, you can feel it, if the action is all special effects and optical effects and cable and people are flying on cables and metrics or whatever, versus the action that we made that has a real feeling of real action. When somebody falls from a car to the asphalt, it was done for real. We couldn't cheat. So this is the big difference that I see in action movies between them and today.
Do you remember the first time you heard about a ninja?
Listen, I didn't know anything. I never heard the word ninja in my life. I was not even interested in martial art at all. I never saw a Hong Kong martial art movie. I was a student of film school, and I started to go to school in 1972. What I was exposed to and I was familiar was samurai movies, Japanese samurai movies. But those are classic cinema. Akira Kurosawa, Seven Samurais, Yojimbo, classic of cinema. And I love samurai movies. Canon Company produced one movie, which was called Enter the Ninja. I did not direct. Menachem Golan, the head of the company. And I saw the movie within the company. I was working in the company. So this is the first time in my life that I heard the word ninja. This is the first time that I really saw a martial art movie. And then within a year, they wanted to do a sequel. They came to me and said, would you direct the Ninja, Revenge of the Ninja, which is a sequel? And I still didn't know much. I was lucky enough that the star of Revenge of the Ninja was Shokosugi. He's a master of martial art. He has a lot of knowledge in martial art and in ninjutsu and ninja. And he was my teacher. He ushered me in. I don't come from the world of martial art. I never practiced martial art. And he introduced me. He recommended a few books. I read a few books about the subject. I see Shokosugi behind you on the shelf.
Although I don't remember the first time I had a video cassette. I was born surrounded by video cassettes. My father worked with video. I remember clearly the first time I went to a rental store, a video club, and my brother told me which movies I could take, the cartoon section, and suddenly I saw the poster of Revenge of the Ninja, and I was just overwhelmed with the poster. And I really had to bring that movie. And of course, my brother was very reticent. It's very violent, you can take it. But in a few days, I managed to bring the movie home. And it was one of my favorite movies, The Revenge of the Ninja. So it was a really fun memory.
You remember, in general, going to video store was very exciting. It was a very exciting event, going to video store. surrounded by all the movies and everything. I love to go. I always love to go to the video stores.
What do you think, in your opinion, that made the ninja such a powerful symbol that it endured in popular culture? It sometimes seems like it's fading away completely, but it's always returning in one guise or other. In your opinion, why is it so powerful?
I will tell you, this is a difficult question to pinpoint why ninjas are popular or why Harry Potter is popular at a certain point. It's a very difficult question to answer within the history. When I was a kid, there was Tarzan. Tarzan was the ninja of my childhood. We loved Tarzan movies, Johnny Weissmuller, and there was series of Tarzan movies, and we loved them. And then it disappeared. No more Tarzan movies. At some point, it was the ninja. Now, we started, in Canon Film, we are responsible. We started this popularization of ninja all over the world. And I have to say the truth, the way we portrayed the ninja was not what I learned from the books that Shokosugi gave me. The real idea of ninja is part of the mythology of Japan, the history of martial art of Japan, that they were the bad guys. You know, the good guys were the samurais. The shoguns employed the samurais to protect them and to fight and to do everything they have to do. But samurai had a code of honor, of like the knights of Europe, you know. And the shogun needed some dirty fighters, so they invented somehow, I don't exactly know, but this ninja was invented. And they were like bad people who committed the murders and kidnapping and whatever, things that the samurais will not do because against the code of honor. When we took upon us to make those action movies with ninja, we did not portray the ninja this way. In our movies, the ninja was the hero. So the ninja had a code, and you know, the movie Revenge of the Ninja with Shokosugi, he's doing all the hand symbols, and he had a code of honor. And what he's doing is to the type of stuff, the type of action in a drama that the hero will do in a drama, not that the villain will do in a drama. And therefore, we ushered in the idea that there is a good ninja, the good ninja, which was Franco Nero, Shokosugi, and later Michael Dudikoff in American Ninja. And the popular culture of the Western world, I don't know what happened in Japan, but in the Western world, they picked up on it and they took it. And there was so much mystery and so much action and other stuff going on and so much gadget and things that usually young people like and they catch into, and they just adapted the ninja as a hero. It so happened. It's a very difficult question to try to analyze historically why this hero went up and then disappeared, and another, why the cowboy was a hero, and then, you know, and then Tarzan and Ninja or Harry Potter or James Bond. It's very difficult question to know, to guess the taste of a general audience. You are talking about hundreds of millions of people together, somehow in a global village, together grabbing into the same idea. It's a very difficult question to analyze. It's more for sociologists and historians rather than for movie makers. We make the movies for entertainment, and it happened. First of all, it was full of mystery. There was a mystery, and they had powers which is almost unnatural, unhuman, you know, to disappear, and they were covered with this black cloth and all kind of exotic weapon that people didn't see before, the shuriken, the throwing stars, the different chains and the different swords. So it was something new, something that had a lot of mystery and excitement.
Can you share with us some recollections precisely about the making of the Revenge of the Ninja?
When I was given the movie to direct, it's not my movie. I did not write the script. It was not my idea. When I was given, there was already script written, Revenge of the Ninja. Jim Silk was the writer. And there was already a star, Shokosugi. This was how the company presented to me as a package. This is the script. This is the star, and you know, and Shokosugi kind of took me and showed me those Chinese movies, the Hong Kong movies of martial art, and I realized one thing in my mind regarding Revenge of the Ninja. I didn't want to make one of those martial art movie, kung fu movie, karate movie of the East, of the Hong Kong, because they are full of martial art. And in my judgment, in my opinion, I thought this will not be good enough for a Western audience, or not. They are not. It will be hard for them to digest it if it's only martial art. I wanted to do Western. I wanted to do James Bond. This was my idea about what kind of movies I want to make. So I came up, the conclusion for myself was, let's mix the two genres together. I will take martial art, I will take general, so I call general action, regular action, Western action, and mix them together. And luckily, Shokosugi, which was really the man behind the martial art in the movie, he agreed with me. He saw the same thing. He wanted to become a Western, a hero for the Western cinema, for general world cinema. He was not interested to be a Hong Kong star, a Hong Kong style of movie. So he came along with me on this idea. And I was surrounded by Hollywood people. Everybody who worked in the movie was local from Hollywood. So they were thinking like me, like our stunt coordinator, Steve Lambert, Shokosugi, which was choreographing the fight. So we were looking for there was a script, and I say, and in the script there were action sequences. It's not completely detailed in script. Not every the action is not detailed really what you will do, but very general terms. It's a car chase or a fight, but the nice thing that we all agree that we are doing a mixture. Some of the scenes of the action scenes will be martial art type of oriented sequences, and some of the scenes are going to be action, gunshot, car chases, punches, what we are used to see in a Hollywood movie. So in my opinion, this hybrid, this mixture of the two genres of cinema will give us what we are looking for, a type of a movie that will be attractive to all kind of audiences around the world. So, we started to work. An action sequence takes many days to do because we do it from small pieces. We shoot small pieces of action. And the two big action sequences in the movie, one is there is a chase, big scene that starts in a fight in the gallery that belongs to Shokosugi, and develop into a chase with a car that he's jumping on the roof and gets in and drive. This is about 7-minute sequence, but our biggest action sequence was the finale of the movie, and we decided that it was my decision, but with the help of people, of everybody who was working with me, stunt department, martial art department, special effects, that we will start, it will be a big building, and we start the action from the low or go up, and we will end up the sequence on the roof. And this was a tall building, maybe 30 stories high, and we'll end up so this sequence it's more than 10 minutes, like 12 minutes action sequence non-stop, and it took days. It's not simple. It doesn't happen in one day, 2 days. It takes maybe a week and a half, sometimes two weeks to do such a complicated and long action sequences. And again, to answer your question, that most of the choreography of the martial art fights were done by Shokosugi. Shokosugi is a sensei, black belt, expert in martial art, in the subject of ninja and other field of martial arts that I'm not familiar with. And he had a group of people around him all the time. His students were, like 6 students were with him all the time. And he will choreograph the fights for the martial art fight. And we had a stunt coordinator, stunt choreographer, Steve Lambert, that also had 1 or 2 assistants with one assistant, but he collected local stunt people from Utah, from Salt Lake City, and he came up with the sequences that were action, not so much martial art action. As for myself, it was for me also a good lesson. Listen, being a student of cinema and a viewer of cinema, I understand action in my brain, but I was never involved in building action, making action, really cinematic action. And this was a good lesson, and I saw that I'm good with this. I know how to put it together in a cinematic way that it will be exciting for the audience. And apparently it was successful because the movie was successful, Revenge of the Ninja.
How important it was for you in your career to make this film, and how important was the reaction you got from it?
It was significant in my career, very significant. I went to film school, undergraduate, BA, and then I went back again to school, MA. I never thought in film school, I wanted to be a director. I wanted to be a storyteller, a filmmaker. And I never thought that I will end up in action, but action, Hollywood type of action was always appealing to me. And when I went to film school the second time, there was a separation. I went to the BA first, and 5 years I was assistant director, and then I went to the MA, to the graduate school. And while I was in school, 3 years or 2.5 years, I made a movie. I wrote a movie and directed, and a friend of mine produced, and together we made a movie in school while we went to school. And this movie was a drama, social drama.
This 18 months to shoot?
Oh yeah, in school, 1.5 years to shoot. Because we were shooting only in the weekends, only every Saturday, Sunday. And Canon was a young company. Canon just began. I had a chance to work with Menachem Golan and Yoram Global before they had the Canon company. I was assistant director for them, for Menachem Golan, for the company in many years, 5 years, before, more than 5 years. And they bought the company at the same time I completed the movies, and this is 1979, 1980. So they bought, suddenly they had this company, Canon, and I completed the movie with them. So it was a young company, and they took the movie for distribution. It went to some festivals, but no money. It's not a money maker. The company was about making money. Canon Film was about making money, which is every film company, but in the world, it's about making money. And they, when they bought the company, they started with horror picture. They started to produce all kind of horror pictures. Horror picture is very cheap to make, very easy and quick and cheap to make. You find a building, some castle, you put actors in the castle, 2 weeks shooting, you have a horror picture. So this is easy. So they started with this, but they didn't see a big success with this, not big. And so they started with action. They moved to Enter the Ninja, as I told you. Now, every company in Hollywood, every independent company, there are a lot of, with the time going up, coming down, Miramax, Corelco, Canon. But their dream is that when they make a movie, a major studio will distribute the movie. Because distributing is very difficult. It's much more difficult than making a movie, especially in North America, Canada and US, which is a big area, a lot of people together, 400 million people, a lot of cities. It's very difficult to distribute, to put the movie in theaters and to collect the money. It's not easy. So every independent company, they don't want to distribute movies. They want to make movies, and they hope that the studio will distribute this movie. Canon was trying. Canon was in the beginning. This was a company in the beginning. Menachem Golan and Yoram Global. They tried. Every little movie they made, they presented to the studios. But they were rejected on all the movies. Every movie they made, they were rejected. And I am a young director. I just finished one movie, not a commercially successful movie, not a big critical success movie. So I need a second chance. Okay, I proved myself, I can make a movie, but it's not enough to move on. Somehow I was lucky. I was in the right time, in the right place, and they gave me this Revenge of the Ninja. We finished Revenge of the Ninja. We finished the editing. We needed additional photography. We did some additional photography to complete the movie, to make it look good. And Canon was clever enough to give us 1 more week of shooting to finish, to complete the movie. And the movie was ready. And they, like every other movie, they show it to the studios. And boom, suddenly MGM said, we like this movie. We want to take it. For Canon, it was a big success. They never, every movie that they try to push to the studio didn't want. And here, suddenly they have a movie that big company like MGM is willing to distribute it. I was a young director who just directed 1 non-commercial movie and 1 commercial movie. I didn't understand the significance of it yet. Today I understand that a studio is taking the first movie that I directed, they are willing to take it for national distribution. It's unbelievable. And they opened the movie 800 theaters in only half of America. Only, they call it from the east side, from the Mississippi River to New York, with 800 screens. That's a lot for small independent movie, low budget movies. And it was success. In New York City, in the theaters, it was on the first week, it was on the top of the grossing list. It made more money than studio movies. And then they took the 800, played in the east of the United States, maybe 4 or 5, 6 weeks. Then they moved the 800 prints to the west side, from the Mississippi to Los Angeles, spread it. So this movie was big success for Canon. And also for me, I'll tell you, I did not understand it at the time, I must admit. For me, it was, I make movies. That's what I wanted to make. So suddenly, for Canon Film, and maybe for other companies, but I was not approached, I don't know. But for Canon Film, I was a good director. It's the director that makes money. It's okay, fine. Let's give him another movie. So it's launched my career. I made many movies. I made about 25 movies from this, coming out from this Revenge of the Ninja, that luckily, or because of many elements that came together, and probably including my skill as a director. And the movie took off, and then Revenge of the Ninja, American Ninja number 2, Breaking Through Electric Boogaloo, etc.
Directing the Shokosugi, the sound, the music, the teams, everything, like you said, everything was coming together.
Yeah, you're right. Everything was right. Everything was in place, especially to the taste of us. When I say us, Western audience. If we are making action movie, let's give the audience action. So the story is only 40, 45 minutes. Story, dialogue, some dialogue scenes. They are not too much of a classic, the dialogue scene. But there was 45. So whoever bought the ticket, whoever rented the cassette, they got what they paid for. They got 45 minutes of exciting action. And because many reasons, it, as you say, it became classic especially in action crowd, and especially with martial art crowd. And the movie is pretty old, and all of the audience that are watching this, they know that most of the movies which are made in the world, like most of the books written in the world, most of them, the majority are disappearing. People forget. There is only small amount of artwork, or not art, let's say entertainment work, that really stays for 40, 50, 60 years, the test of time, they stand the test of time. And so it's a big deal. If you take a movie like Revenge of the Ninja, was low budget, independent movie, and here we are 40 years later, and we're still talking about it.